Hi there.
Hi.
I am Terri Jo Fox, and I am with the Knox Fox Real Estate Group, and I have a special guest with me today, and you are?
Terri Holder of the Lady Vol Boost Her Club.
Of the Boost Her Club.
Yes.
I just love that.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the Boost Her Club, and first off, we'll start with that. Tell me more about it.
Well, last year, the NIL really started playing an important role in all sports. And so when that came out, I actually have owned Orange Mountain Designs for 16 years. And I have the ability to be able to sell that to a very great person in Knoxville, to get it moved to Knoxville and get over here. So we moved it on Kingston Pike. And at that time, I decided it was time for the female athletes to have a voice in the NIL world. So I approached UT about using this name, the Lady Vol Boost Her Club. Years ago, there was a booster club that Pat Summitt started. And then once Pat passed away and everything, that kind of dissolved and went away. And so I kind of wanted to bring that back. And so basically what we do, we actually have representatives from all 9 sports now. And
Nice.
so I have female athletes from all 9 sports at the University of Tennessee that we work with.
And so will you name those 9 sports for me?
That's not fair. All right, so we got basketball, softball, volleyball, tennis, rowing, track and field, and swimming.
So you've brought up the NIL, and I know so many people that do not have a clue of what that actually is. Because I was one of those, and then we had actually somebody come to our Rotary Club and actually speak about it. So I know a little bit more, but I could never explain it. So explain a little bit of what that is and how it actually benefits the players.
Okay, so basically the NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. And what that is, that comes into the play where your athletes can actually make money and do events based on their name, image, and likeness. And so how that works is we work with our student athletes to set up a different events. We just had one last night in celebration of our softball team who just got back from the Women's College World Series. So as we set up events like that, our players can come out, they get to meet the fans, they get to interact. And when we have these events, then our players can also be paid for coming out and doing events like this, signing autographs, things like this that, you never used to be able to do. And, college athletes, I'm not sure, most people might be aware that, their day starts at 6 a.m., whether it's working out, then going to class all day, then going to practice, then coming back and doing homework. So there's not really an opportunity for any of them to get a part-time job, to have extra money, to be able to go out and do things. And so this is kind of where it comes into play, where we set up different events. I know that right now, just within the next 3 months, we're setting up a wine dinner. We're setting up a golf tournament. We're setting up so many different events, and these events are when our Lady Vols can come participate in these events, and it gives the fans a chance to come and meet them and opportunities that they would have never had without the NIL.
Okay, so it's been beneficial for them.
It's been extremely beneficial.
Very good.
I mean, we have Rakia Jackson right now who plays for the Tennessee Lady Vol basketball team. And, she was projected to be the number 3 draft pick this year in the WNBA. And she chose to come back because of all the NIL opportunities. The women's sports are a little bit further behind than the men. In the WNBA, the max they can make is about $70,000, whereas most men in the NBA, their contracts start out at $1 million.
Wow.
And so, Rakia came back. We were able to work out something with Mercedes-Benz. So she's doing an NIL deal with Mercedes-Benz. She's also doing different deals like that. Kiki Malloy, that plays for our softball team, our Lady Vol softball team, we just signed a deal with Stretch Fusion to work with her. So basically, these athletes can come in and help support and help, basically advertise for businesses.
Yeah.
And they get paid for it.
Okay.
It's just that they're still playing a sport. And so their popularity and stuff like that also helps the businesses whenever they have athletes that do things like that.
So, and how do they get paid? Do they get only from just money, or are there other ways of getting paid?
Well, I mean, the Lady Vol Booster Club, basically whenever we set up and do events, just like last night, so there's ticket sales. And so we take the money from the ticket sales, and then that's how the athletes will get paid for coming and doing events.
Nice.
And then our Boost Our Club, what we also have is a lot of different levels of memberships. We do a lot of stuff, like I said, with corporate sponsors. I mean, we have First Horizon, Food City, His Technology. I mean, the list is just starting now as we're continuing to grow. And so, like, if someone is out there that would like to have a Lady Vol come and represent their business or do some Instagram posts, TikTok posts, things like that, then the players get paid for that. Okay. And so that's kind of how they can make money while they're still in school. And it also brings a lot of athletes back. I mean, just like I said, with Rakia Jackson, Tamari Kiki Malloy. I mean, she's a fifth-year senior this year, so she could have left, but she's coming back another year for for the Lady Vols. And so things like this, the opportunities that we can get them in monetary things like that. But there are other things. I mean, we have a lot of events that the girls don't necessarily get money for. If we're working with boys and girls clubs, we do a lot of stuff. We started working some with CBFO. We just got through having a softball tournament I guess it's been about a month ago with CBFO over at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. We were able to secure and use the Lady Vol softball field.
Yes.
And so we were able to do that. The kids only had to pay $20. So basically, because we had to rent the field and, facility charges. But our girls all came and did that, and they took a lot less money because they wanted to come and be with all these kids.
Isn't that that's when they were helping the young athletes learn different ways of doing things and the positions and everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Like that. Yeah, so we were there. So,
oh, okay. Yes.
It was actually really cool to see.
Yeah.
And there were, you mentioned how many young athletes actually came with CBFO?
256.
256.
Yes.
And then did you have the entire Lady Vol softball team there?
We had the entire softball team there.
And they would take out groups, and I just loved seeing that. That was really cool.
That was our first really big event starting to do things like that and to be able to include the entire team. Because that is the thing with NIL is whenever you've got the whole team involved, some sports have a whole lot more. Softball is one of them. They have 24, whereas basketball has 11. So as we do our NIL events, we have to base it on the events we set up. We try to do as many of the players that we can when we set up the events.
Very nice. Very nice. So what does Boost Her mean to you?
Boost Her, it's right there in the name. I mean, we're just trying to work with our female athletes and give them a voice. There's a lot of NIL things that everybody hears about where some of the football players at other universities and different places, a million here, a million there. And, our Lady Vols, we're just still trying to get equality on that level of NIL. And, it's something to strive for. Mm-hmm. We have some amazing female athletes. I mean, I know that, everyone has seen the GPA that's just come out. Tennessee's leading the nation in GPA across all their sports.
Wow.
And we have great administrators over there that, we work with compliance at UT. Mm-hmm. And so that we know everything we're doing with our athletes, is always going to be above board in what we're allowed to do. The NIL world changes every day. This is changing, that's changing, the Senate's voting on something. So we're always wanting to make sure that everything we do, every event that we do is always, what we need to be doing to protect our athletes.
Okay.
And the administration is great about giving us the resources for us to know, what we need to be doing and what we can and can't do.
So you work hand in hand with UT?
We work with the compliance department. Okay. We're not at all with UT. We are our separate, our own separate company.
Okay.
And so the Lady Vol Boost Her Club, but what it means is we work with all 9 sports. Okay. So if a female athlete calls us up and says, hey, is there anything out there for me? Obviously there's going to be some sports that are going to have athletes that have a lot more opportunities. This is just where we are right now. But we're also in the process of trying to do an all sports banquet. Because we just got through signing Jason Sear, who is one of our track athletes that, just racked up the gold medals this year. Mm-hmm. We have Riley Fertelman, who is one of our rowers, who just got a silver medal. So a lot of these athletes, like our tennis team this year, went further than it's been in years. Our softball team just went to the Women's College World Series. Yeah. And so a lot of folks always know what's going on with the Lady Vol basketball team. Yes. Okay? Yes. And then this year, obviously, everybody kind of knows what's going on with the Lady Vol softball team. Yeah. But what's going on with your other 7 sports? And those are not forgotten athletes. They're still over there, and they're still representing UT, and they're still the reason that we got, the cup for winning the most of everything in sport, So that's just where we're at. We're just trying to get everything put together, get the pieces put together, and keep growing this so that our female athletes can continue to get, their limelight and get out there.
And you can tell by the way you speak of it, it's very important to you.
It is. I mean, the Lady Vols has always been a passion, and I got that from Pat Summit. She took a chance, and it's been 16 years ago when she asked me to really open up a store and just basically help grow the Lady Vol logo brand. And so we took that serious, and if anybody knows Pat Summit, if she's going to get involved in something, it's going to be 100% let's go.
I'm sure that was an
honor. And so whenever this opportunity come up with the Lady Vol Booster Club, I guess one of Pat's definite dozens, surround yourself with good people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've done. I mean, from meeting you, meeting Scott, I mean, all the people who come into my life just since I've started doing the Lady Vol Booster Club, the connections.
Yeah.
You know, I met people out in Oklahoma that I've never known, and now I'm having lunch with them back in Knoxville because
Yeah.
they want to help, you know, work with Lady Vol athletes.
Yeah.
And so it is a passion because I see where the women, it's not so that we don't get the representation. It's just they're not there yet as far as the limelight unless you are going to the Women's College World Series.
Yeah.
You know, unless you have won gold medals in something, or, you know, and UT has really done an amazing job this year. I watch their social media and what they do. They do as much for our women's sports as they do the men's sports. So they're actually picking up and doing a great job of that. What we want to be able to come in and do, which they can't do because, you know, universities cannot give out money for NIL. They can't steer anybody toward us. And so what we're trying to do is just to get, you know, for businesses and for individuals to understand what we are doing for them, what a difference it makes. The event we did last night, just all the adults, the families that brought their kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty spectacular to see all the young kids. And
Right.
they were so excited about coming in, and then, of course, the players were there and so forth. So how many people were at that event last night?
If I'm not mistaken, by the time it was all said and done, we were standing room only, so we were close to around 270. And we had 21 out of the 24 players on the team there.
Yes.
And then, of course, we had a special guest come by last night, and that was Coach Weekly and her husband, Ralph. And so that was, you know, not even planned.
Nice.
And so, you know, the coaches can kind of come in and help us when we're doing events. They can show up. And the thing is whenever they come walking in, all the kids are like, oh, you know, I mean, they already are excited about the players that are there, but to see the actual coach come in. And so the event last night, you know, was an amazing thing, not only for the players to get to come out because they love the fans. They you know, and that's Kiki Malloy and Ashley Rogers, you know, both spoke last night.
Yes.
And just, you know, what they said, and they've said it all year long, it is the fans and what they do. And when it comes to the NIL, and I hate just saying NIL, it's always the name, image, and likeness, but Kiki Malloy right now is probably the best player in Division I, in my opinion. She didn't get named that, but, you know, she led the nation in home runs. You know, 25 home runs and 40 stolen bases. That's pretty an amazing year. You know, Ashley Rogers, we did one of our trivia questions last night, and everybody was trying to guess how many strikeouts she had for the year, and it was 179 or 81 or something.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there, and even Ashley was over there like, really? I had that many? And so just the humbleness of the players and how much they enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And just like whenever we did the CBFO event, and them getting to get out on the field and actually see the little girls coming in, you know, just starting. You know, what a difference sports make in young women's lives. And it's changing my perspective on a lot of things. When I see the little kids come in, 6, 7 years old, that's got their little pink backpack and their pink cleats on, and you know that when they turn 16 and they're out there now and they're ready to play college ball, they're going back at mom like, did you really let me wear pink to a...
So I have a friend, and his niece was there, and her parents were there, and which I know them as well. But she just had a Lady Vols birthday party. It was all about Lady Vols, and she has her own Lady Vols room.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, she is all in. This is her first year actually playing, and she's 7 years old, and she is, I mean, she was all about it. Like, she was the one getting the shirt signed last night. She was all about it. And so, but yeah, she's spectacular on that part. So, but I have another friend, I mean, I did buy the World Series ball sign last night because I have another friend's granddaughter who is, I mean, she loves it. She's been playing for years, and she is, she wasn't able to come last night because, you know, family vacations and so forth like that. But she doesn't even know I have that ball for her yet. So I'm super excited because it's from the World Series and it's signed by a ball.
I actually bought those balls out there myself.
Right? It's so cool.
And I think you basically just hit what this means, because before, due to NCAA rules and regulations, to be able to have events where everyone could come in and get autographs, or everyone could come in and get pictures and do this, it had to be done by the University of Tennessee because that was just part of the rules and regulations. Well, now through the NIL and how we can set this up, you know, we can do events like what we did last night.
Okay.
You know, we can do events. If someone's having a birthday party and they would like to have a Lady Vol out there, we can actually do that. We can arrange that through an NIL event series. And so there's just a lot of opportunities that I think people don't realize about what our booster club is doing. And, you know,
I don't think the community knows all of that for sure.
Yeah,
because we have so much at our fingertips.
Right. Right.
So,
And what it does to help the girls, and the main thing, I always fall back on softball, but it is a lot of different sports. Because softball, what you have to realize, they have 11 scholarships to give. Okay, we have 24 players.
yeah.
So you have a lot of players who are on partials, whether it's 20%, 30%, whatever. And so this is kind of where we can step in and do events to take some pressure off of parents. I mean, you go in and look, just like at softball, I mean, several of our players, Kiki Malloy, right off the bat, her parents live in Seattle. Zeta Pooney, her parents live in California. I mean, so when you've got these parents that are having to fly in, and then pay for hotel rooms, and then they're still having to help pay for some of their kids' college tuition, so, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
if their daughters are able to get out here and do events and pick up an extra $1,000 a month, $1,000 every 2 months, that money is going to go straight to helping either pay their rent, being able to just go to the mall and buy a pair of shoes that they can just wear to go out, or a new pair of jeans. And so that's the part I see. And I see the gratefulness of these athletes, that when we do things, especially for the athletes that have a 20% scholarship, or all they're getting paid for is their books. A lot of people don't realize the only 2 sports that are fully scholarship is volleyball and basketball. Now, the other 7 sports, there are some that have endowed scholarships. I know some of our golfers have endowed scholarships. We do still have other sports that have some scholarships, but there are also a lot that are not full scholarships. 2 of our girls that we work with on our volleyball team, one of them is not scholarship.
So you mentioned volleyball. I absolutely loved watching UT volleyball. Years ago, we used to go often because of my stepdaughter, who is now 22. But gosh, it was so much fun to watch those girls get intense up on that.
Yep.
Oh, I really loved that.
Yep.
So
we have Morgan Fingal and Kai Moore, and one is full scholarship and one is no scholarship. And and I'm sure a lot of people are out there. Well, how do you pick your athletes? How do you decide? How do you do things? And it's not really been me picking them. I think kind of someone higher up's taking care of me, because when I try to start deciding who I want to talk to, it just seems the way things have worked out that it's been the right ones. And so that makes it is a passion, and it is fun, because I know that and it's not because this is a we, this is a village, and you already see that just from last night with, you all stepped up and were a corporate sponsor. Scott stepped up. I mean, the corporate sponsors that come in and help us do these events are changing lives. Every softball player last night, when the event was done and everybody had left, okay, every softball player stayed and gave me a hug before they left to thank me for doing that last night and for their money that they made.
Oh, wonderful.
Because, thinking about these girls that are leaving, 10 of them have, they're not on full scholarships. So that makes a difference for me. So yes, that makes the passion of getting out here and trying to let, folks understand what the Lady Vol Boost Her Club is about.
Yeah.
And how they can help. I mean, we have everything from monthly donations, one-time donations, corporate sponsorships. If someone wants Kiki Malloy to come out and represent their business, or be an ambassador, Rakia Jackson, Tamori Key, I mean, any of our athletes.
So do all of the athletes are open to being a part of it?
I have 38 signed under a contract with me for my Lady Vol Boost Her Club.
Okay.
But I can work with any Lady Vol. If someone called me and I don't have them necessarily as part of our 38, then I can reach out to them, and then we can still try to work something out with that.
And how many of those 38 already have opportunities to them?
From me?
Yeah, through you.
All 38 have
All
done
38.
events.
Oh, have they?
Every one
Wonderful.
of them, yes.
Okay. And are there any that want to but still haven't had the opportunity to, do you think?
We've had a few, I guess, that have reached out, and until I can get to the position that I want to be able to do things the right way. I think that's the thing, it's like I don't want to ask someone come to an event and I can only give you $50, or I can only give you $100. I mean, because athletes' time is so valuable. It's kind of like as we become adults, or when you become a parent, and you're like, I just need 30 minutes by myself. Yeah. And I don't think that people realize what these athletes do, especially if you want a championship level. I know that basketball starts. I know that Kiki, I know my main ones, because I keep saying Kiki and Tamari and Rakia, but I work with them in so many opportunities. But, their day starts at 6 a.m. every day. And then it's get this done. As soon as I get nothing, I got to go to classes, because they are student athletes.
Yeah.
And they're all maintaining above a 3.0.
Wonderful.
And so then they get done with that. Well, then they've all got to go to practice.
Yeah.
So a lot of events that I do with folks, it might be 7:30, and that's the only free time they have.
I mean, we were leaving there at 9:15 last night, so I know that they were walking out the door at the same time as us. So
And so that's just it. I mean, it isn't like we just walk up to the athletes and say, hey, come have a dinner here, here's your money. We don't do anything like that. These athletes want to be involved. They want to get out and do stuff in the community. That's like I said, we're getting ready to try to do the golf tournament. That's going to bring in our golfer and some other people that we haven't done a lot of things with. We did a pickleball tournament.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
was great. And we actually,
that's a very popular
yeah,
sport these
it is.
days. So.
And so we had 7 different sports that were in town. Softball wasn't here and basketball wasn't allowed, but the other 7, we had representatives from all of those sports. So we had some of our tennis team there, right?
Oh, nice.
And these other folks that thought they were going to come in and take care of our tennis girls, I mean, they got some good lessons that night. The Lady Vols kind of took it to them. But now my rower and some of those girls, they were just kind of like, but it was great. And it was a local business that we set up and did an event, and it raised money for our tennis team.
Wonderful.
So, that's kind of...
Okay, so you mentioned 2 events.
Right.
One is going to be, I believe, a wine dinner of some sort, and I believe that was mentioned around August 14th is going to be their wine dinner event, and you're going to have that at Walnut Kitchen out in Maryville.
Correct.
And if somebody wants to be involved with something like that or be a sponsor or something like that, I'm sure we could just provide that information. Okay,
absolutely.
We can put the website and everything on. Okay,
absolutely.
Perfect. And then you mentioned a golf tournament.
Yes.
When is that going to be?
September 16th. Now I've got my 16th right. September 16th.
September 16th.
Yes.
Okay, and do we already know where that's going to be at?
Yes. No, I'm not a great golfer. I'm still learning.
Me either. I've only went twice.
Yeah, Dead Horse Lake Golf Course.
Dead Horse, right
okay,
here.
That
okay.
one.
Dead Horse.
Yes.
Okay.
And so let me go backwards though, because there was one event before that that's huge.
Okay.
It's Kiki Malloy Camp and friends and crew and crew. We're doing a softball camp.
Okay, so
with Kiki Malloy.
So that was mentioned last night.
Kiki and crew.
And crew.
Camp Kiki and crew.
Yes,
Camp Kiki and crew.
Yes, and that is July 29th, and those tickets will actually be going out on sale probably tomorrow.
Wonderful.
And the event is going to be July 29th, and it's going to be ages 6 through 14.
Wonderful.
And we're going to have we're going to need some sponsors for that.
So
and,
let me ask you,
okay.
if a young girl who has never done anything for softball,
right,
never,
right,
would that be a good camp for her
yes.
to go to? Because
yes.
I mean, it's like learning like brand
yes.
new, so she's going to be completely like probably shy and.
We separate all the kids out by age. That's one great thing about working with Scott and Danielle. They know when kids come in. Mm-hmm. We can talk to the parent because normally if you've got a 6, 7, 8-year-old, the parents with them. And you can kind of see, and so we try to put them in their comfort zone, exactly what you just said, because we want them to have a blast. Mm-hmm. I don't want them to come in a 6-year-old and a 14-year-old and they're still doing the same thing. We never do that. So it's kind of going to be set up and ran just like we did with CBFO. We'll separate them out. We've got batting cages. It's going to be at the CAK Fields over here in Knoxville.
Okay.
Wonderful. And so that's going to be where we have it, and we're super excited. So Kiki wanted to do something to kind of give back, and so they decided to have a camp. And all the Lady Vol camps are sold out. So I will say that's another reason that we wanted to try to do something, because those are pretty, the kids that go to those camps are pretty serious already, and they know what they want to do. Whereas if you're a mom and you've got a 6, 7, 8, and they're like, I want to play basketball, I want to play softball, I want to play soccer, and it's like, okay, which do you want to do? And at that age, the kids don't know. So this will kind of be a little bit less expensive, and so folks can sign up and come to this. And
so how much does that camp
It's going to
cost?
be $125.
$125. It's an entire day.
It's we're doing it from 9 to 1.
Okay, 9 to 1.
Yes.
That'll get that's going to get them out there and really in the sun and everything, isn't it?
Well, that's why we're kind of starting it early so we can get done that day. And we're still thinking we may end up, I think Kiki might still want to do a little pizza party at the end of it. But what we'll do probably from 12 to 1 when it starts getting really hot, that'll be when we stop everything, do the autographs at the end, and maybe let the kids have pizza. And so we'll be out there hopefully from 9 to 12 before it gets too bad.
Okay.
So
what I know that you mentioned sponsorships and things like that. So what do you at the Booster Club need the most right now?
Just the fans to really understand what this is. It's kind of like, what is it when you go to church and they're like, just bring one with you the next Sunday. Just bring one. Mm-hmm. And this is basically tell one person that is a Lady Vol fan what this really is. Because I think there's so much misconception out there about what the NIL world is. Mm-hmm. And, they see a lot of stuff, and it's nothing against, I guess, the football season is where everybody really sees a lot of the kids they're getting this and they're getting that. But, our Lady Vol Booster Club is nothing like that. The way we set everything up, everything is very well represented, what we do. Like I've already, I'm not going to re-talk about all that, but it's really just when I can sit and explain to someone what we do and what a difference this makes in some of these young ladies' lives, then people get it.
Yeah.
Because, it is like absolutely never going to be a pay for play. It is never about, oh, hey, go out there and score 30 points and I'll give you no. I mean, it is going to always be events. It is always going to be events that we can give back to the fans. We have done Top Golf events. We have done Painting with a Twist. I mean, some of those are the most fun things to see. Some of the, just your regular fans who come and, and I'm meeting new people every day. And so when we put this out there and they come do Painting with a Twist, I mean, we're sitting there, the last one we just had, Rakia Jackson, they gave us the little things. Well, she erased everything on it and she freehanded it. And so every person, we sold out, we had 32 people there on top of our 6 athletes. But Rakia Jackson basically sat there and painted this whole painting freehand. And now, is this something you would have ever thought about Rakia Jackson when you watch her play basketball?
Yeah.
So that's what's cool is it's that one-on-one connection that you've never been able to have before.
Yeah.
That
is pretty cool.
Right. The most you could have ever hoped for prior to NIL was after a game, you stand out there and you hope one of the athletes comes by and you get to get an autograph. Well, now you're guaranteed an autograph. If I do an event just like last night, every person who was there got a free poster and everyone got an autograph. They got their pictures made. There is, okay, hurry, we got it. There's never going to be that. So that is such a big thing of the Booster Club is we want the athletes to make connections with, for their future.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is what are they going to do once basketball ends? What are they going to do once softball ends? There is no baseball like in the NBA. What do the ladies have? Okay?
Yeah.
When they get done rowing, what does she do next? When you get done with swimming and diving, so there's so many sports. Volleyball. There is some professional leagues, but when you start doing that, you're down to 12 kids that get to make it, and then you've got 164 Division I schools. So we're trying to prepare them, too, about life lessons.
Yeah.
And that's what is fun about it. Just like everyone last night, I don't know how many people noticed it, but like none of our athletes have their phones out. So there are things that they are learning and hopefully being taught.
Well, if you have your phone down, then you can actually, build the relationship, have a conversation, and understand how that is.
Yeah.
So that is actually important. So tell me how much it is to join the Booster Club, as well as what's included in the memberships.
Okay, well, we have memberships that start at $10 a month.
Okay.
And then we've got a lot of one-time donations if you just want to go in and do a one-time donation. But mostly what we are asking and trying to build right now is our monthly. We have a $10, a $20, $30, $50. Your membership, basically, when you join, you're going to get a welcome package. So you're going to get an autograph from a favorite player. Okay. You're going to get a 10% discount card for our sister, Orange Mountain Designs, and that card's good forever. We always reach out and get your birthday. So you're going to get a birthday card every year from your favorite Lady Vol. Okay. You get a Christmas card from your Lady Vols. We do random things. I can't really go into some of our secret things, but I will say that when Jordan Horston was drafted for the WNBA, every one of our members got an autographed picture of Jordan Horston. We sent those out. No one knew they were coming.
Nice.
And so, we're just trying to do things like that. Your membership level, if you do All-American or above, I think we usually send an autographed basketball from Coach Harper. Or if you're a big softball fan, we'll come up with something like that. Soccer, we've kind of got different things for every sport. And there's a spot in there that you can say, hey, I love the Lady Vols, but this is like my go-to sport. So we want to know what people's sport is, so that if we want to tailor something to them. Obviously we've got our corporate sponsorships. We work with our sponsors. People come in and do a $5,000 sponsorship. They can pay it $500 for 10 months, or they can pay it all up front. And with that comes your choice. Our sponsorships for corporate, if you want Kia Jackson, Tamari Key, Sarah Puckett, or you want to go to softball, you got Zeta and Key. We can have people come in, they do the TikToks, they do Instagrams. We actually come in and set that up and basically put it in a contract form that, okay, you want to donate this for your corporate sponsorship, then we're going to give you one Instagram post a month by so-and-so for the whole year. Oh. And if you want a TikTok, we can do this. So basically, that's how we set up our corporate sponsorships. And then you go on our website as a corporate sponsor, and we keep that on our list on there. Same thing as our donors. A lot of our events, when we do a Painting with a Twist, for example, right now, all of our members would get the email first. So let's say we sell out of those 30 spots. then the general public would never know about it
Gotcha.
until they see everybody posting.
And
And
then
then like last night, they're all like, why didn't I get invited?
Yeah.
And so, but we're always going to give our members first choice. So we did an adult camp with Coach Harper and a couple weeks ago. And it was an adult camp where people could come play basketball, and Coach Harper, we did film, we did all this stuff, and it went out to our members first.
Okay.
So as things that, there's a lot of advantages like that because you're always going to know about stuff first.
Okay.
And
well, that is definitely I would say, huge benefit. So
Right.
because I'm like, I will see things on social media and I'll be like, I had no idea that was taking place. Why wasn't I aware?
Right, right.
So, okay, so that's nice. All right, so tell me a little bit, do you have employees that work for the booster, and then kind of how it functions?
Okay, well, actually, I have my first employee. We have grown enough that we do have our first employee, Danielle Baird. And how it functions is run. We are doing everything we can right now to just let everyone know what we're doing. We set up events. I've got some incredible volunteers that work with me. We also have an advisory board that we have former players. We have everyone from Dre Carter, who everybody knows now is on ESPN and one of the most popular commentators. We have a lawyer on board. We have a school teacher on board. So we have a 12-panel advisory board. So when we come up with ideas, we usually do a Zoom meeting once a month. And so this is what we're thinking about doing. What's everyone's input? But we also have a lot of people, like I said, that we've met now. That are got great ideas and things to do. And so the Booster Club, how we function is that we're just passionate about what we're doing, and we're just trying to come up with different ideas, different events that will incorporate our players and our fans.
Yes.
And that's really what it's about.
That's the
is to
goal.
bring the connection between the player and the fan, so that when they're donating $30 a month to our Booster Club, that they feel like this is the best investment I've ever got. And I can't imagine, last night I had absolutely no one walk up to me and go, well, you could have done this, or why didn't we do this? I mean, everyone was just so, and I mean, the emails and the text messages this morning about the girls, and that's what it is about.
So you had quite a few people join last night.
We did.
Do you have an idea of how many?
I think last night we had 7 join.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of Booster Club members there.
I'm sure there was actually
Yes.
quite a few. I
Yes.
mean, like
Yes.
we were the presenting sponsors, along with Cook Bros Homes, which were unable to attend, so I did not have to fight over the banner.
I know, right? Somehow you got to get that, right? That was good on your part.
But the ladies who were sitting there, they were just so overjoyed with everything that was going on. I mean, they just would not stop thanking us for being corporate sponsors. And I was like, you are very welcome. And I loved how you had an athlete from Lady Vols at every table.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Thank
and
you.
they were very, very nice. And I didn't get to go to all the tables, but then I did stay at the end and waited for the signatures and kind of walked around and talked to each table. So that was nice and enjoyable. So
Well, I told Ashley she couldn't cry, and the first thing you all
She
did
did.
was stand. Well, y'all gave her a standing oh, and so she's like, okay, now I'm going to cry again. She turned around to me, but I mean, just the little trivia questions last night.
Those were fun.
Of course, I was giving all the kids the winners.
But it was nice to have some interaction with
Absolutely.
the crowd, as well as with the kids and the players as well. So
And that's
that
why
was
we want
very
it to be a fun event.
Yeah.
I mean, last night, you basically got to come for $35 if you're, a Booster Club member, or even last night we went ahead and sold more because we had so many people reaching out to us.
Yeah.
And so it was just, not only you got to come and have dinner with them, you get to kind of, I don't want to say, you get that connection of a human. Because a lot of times you see these kids out there playing, like the Carlin Pickens or the Zeta Poonies, and you're like, they're in such awe. It's like, oh, they actually sit down and eat dinner too. I mean, really, when you're, kind of in
They're
awe of
normal
people,
people too.
right?
Yeah.
And it also makes our athletes, they're kind of like this little girl who's just so in awe of you, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to post that TikTok because she could be watching, and so it helps in that avenue too. I think it makes them grow up and respect that more, because that's one thing. Our Booster Club, we do have some rules. The NIL helps protect us a little bit, that they can't do any alcohol commercials, they can't do any gambling commercials, so things like that. But then there's also a set of rules from the Lady Vol Booster Club.
Okay.
So we're pretty adamant on those about what they can post and what they do, because we want the university.
They have a reputation.
Right, and the Lady Vol logo.
Yeah.
It means a lot, and it means
does.
a lot to all these ladies who wear it across their chest.
Yes, they do.
And the ones that come before them. And so while you're going to see other universities out there kind of posting whatever they want to post and allowing their players, I think that I have the coaches' support on that, I don't feel like I'm being censorship by any means, but it's the same, think about who's looking at this,
So I'm going to reverse just one bit because you just said something, and this triggers back to something I heard last night, is that there's not another school that has something similar to this?
Nothing that does just the women's sports. Most universities, and I'm going to use Oklahoma just because we just came from there.
Yes.
The Women's College World Series was, you got I think theirs is called Boomer Sooner, or Sooner Boomer is their club. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's just one club. So for both.
Male
So
and female.
we all
Okay.
know kind of how that's going to roll. Same thing with Alabama. They have their Roll Tide. So what we went in and did before we went to the Women's College World Series, now I can't say I don't go on Google every morning, but I do know that when we went out there, none of the 8 schools out there have anything just for their female athletes. Now I think that in LSU, I think that Kim Mulkey has something for their basketball team specifically.
Okay.
But what about your other 8 sports?
Yeah.
And so that's what I guess that's what I take the most pride in. Obviously when this first started and I was working with Tamari Key and Jordan Horston, and I had Kiki Malloy and Ashley Rogers. That was my first 4 ever a year and a half ago when NIL was just barely being whispered, and we were just doing events then. Just autograph, we used to do that all the time anyway.
Yeah.
And so, to do stuff like this and to see how it's going to grow. But the fact that I feel like, we're setting the bar, and that's what the Lady Vols have always done. If you go back, and I know that Pat Summitt she's just Pat Summitt. I don't care if it's one sport or 9 sports.
Yeah.
But she set the bar.
Yeah, she did.
And so it's always, what can you do next? What's going to bring the ladies higher? Pat was the first coach to ever play an outdoor game. Because she said that'd be the last game she ever played outdoors, but it was an outdoor game that was on national TV. And so, when I look at our ladies and everything that we're trying to accomplish, I like being the only one. I will say I've had a few emails asking me about the model and how we started this, but I'm not, not ready to share that yet.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty spectacular that you just have so much there to offer to the young girls, the young athletes, as well as to the community because of the fans and so forth. So I do appreciate you coming.
Absolutely.
And we are going to post all of the information how you can contact the Booster Club, and I'm going to get it out there to the community because it's really important for the community to actually know more about the Lady Vols Booster Club. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks.